say that dreams come true, and when they do that, there's a beautiful thing.
Welcome to Conversations of Consequence. Introduce yourself.
I'm James Garcia. I'm a senior here at Perth Amboy High School. How are you today, Angel? Like, nobody be asking you that.
I know, like, no offense to my guests, I love y'all. But I'm pretty solid. It's been a interesting day so far. I had to actually set up this setup for like the first time today, because you know I have a great team, but they're teaching me, so that's great. How about you, James?
Honestly, I have a debate meeting today. Not meeting, actually. I have the hometown throwdown, so we'll see how that goes. A little nervous, not gonna lie. My opponents don't know that. They'll see this after the thing.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty nervous. Other than that, I'm doing pretty well, and I'm getting interviewed by like one of the best interviewers in the world. So it's like, come on.
The best for the best interviewee, you know.
Oh. Yeah.
I'm actually gonna be at that debate today, so
Yeah.
I hope you put on a show.
Yeah, I mean, that's the plan.
Yeah, hometown throwdown.
Yeah, I mean, I have really good group members. Shout out to Evelyn and shout out to Gabe. I mean, they're amazing. Literally, Angel was there in one of our meetings, and it's like I just spit out a whole bunch of stuff, and they're just able to write it down as I'm speaking. It's amazing. And like their research is A1, and then they just come up with such great ideas. Honestly, I wouldn't take any of the credit for our win. They can have it all because they're amazing. So.
You know, you are so humble. Like, I was watching them prepare for the debate, and you just got into character like that. Like, we talked about one of your weak points, and it was just insane to see how quick you could just go into debate mode. Like, I thought you were part of the U.S. government for a second.
Yeah, I've always said that, like, especially for debate, it's not even like what you're saying. Sometimes it's the way you say it, right? So I always try to like have like a very like tone where I sound like I know what I'm talking about. One competition that always comes to mind. The only competition I was able to participate in because of COVID, right? Model UN. I remember I didn't prepare as much as I should have. And I remember I had to really BS my way through the whole thing. And I think that what that taught me was like, if you have information, you can also deliver it that well. Like you're pretty much unstoppable, right? No matter what side you're on. So that's always what I've been really like pushing for this year, since it's our year back. Like we haven't had debates since sophomore year, so that's what I've really been pushing for.
Yeah. Speaking of like COVID, like, what did you do during COVID?
During COVID, COVID actually hit me very hard. I think it was probably the most unproductive period of my life. I didn't get much done, to be honest. I think the only thing I used to do during COVID was probably make Shopify websites, if anybody knows what that is. That wasn't the coolest thing. I didn't enjoy it as much, but it was a business venture I tackled during that time period, and I think that was one thing. And I also got to meet my girlfriend. Shout out to Karina. So you know, those are like pretty much like the two big things that happened during COVID. Other than that, it was just me sleeping all the time. So definitely not the best time, I'll say, but it's gotten a lot better ever since then. I think I do need sometimes people's energies to really radiate and like really be myself. So being back has been pretty useful, I'll say. That's pretty cool.
Myself, and I'm pretty sure most of our audience was shocked to hear that you did like nothing, because right now you're like you're a workaholic, you're a juggernaut.
Yeah.
And it was very surprising to hear that you did nothing. Like now you literally don't stop working.
Yeah. You see, I agree and I disagree. I think that I work hard, but I also rest a lot sometimes, right? Like I sleep a ton. I know you probably know this. I still sleep a ton. I think it's just about like what you do with your time, right? I still have my unproductive periods, even weeks where like it's very, very hard to get things done. I think it's just very important to just get past that and just try to get as much work done as you can when you really do feel it. Because when you feel it, you feel it. So you don't want that feeling to go away. Like, have you ever felt like there's like periods of time, especially in like a month, where like you are very productive and then you're also very unproductive at the same time? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course, it's very natural. Like some days I'll work out and then the rest of the week I'll be burnt out. But you know, like you said earlier, people's energies, like when you're around radiant energies, you become one yourself, or at least get back to yourself, because you are radiant energy.
Yeah, I think the people around you are very important, right? I think, especially during COVID, it was really hard to make connections, right? So, you know, I would say like I let a lot of really important friendships kind of slip away, which I think really motivated me a lot. Nowadays, I have a pretty good group around me, right? Like I have Guadalupe, Charlize, Zonia, Josiah. Shout out to all of them. They're amazing. And then my boy Denny as well, right? Like I feel like like having so many people that are just always working just makes you have to work, right? Like if I feel like there's a quote, it's like the 5 people around you define who you are. Right, so it's like I always have people around me that are working. So it's like, what am I supposed to do? I'm not gonna lay down. I mean, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so I think that's important. Like how would you describe your friend group? I would describe my friend group as a very hardworking set of people. I think every single person, like for example, we became close for that reason, right? Like I saw that you were working really, really hard, and like we see the product of this, right? Like you have a pretty nice looking podcast that's just improving every single day. So, like how would you describe your friend group though?
One, thank you for saying that. I
Yeah.
appreciate it. I am busting my tail here.
Yeah.
Two, my friend group is very, very good, and I appreciate them. And they're ambitious and creative as well. Like I love being around creative people. It really helps me. Like it sparks. You get that spark in your brain when you're around creative people, and yeah, it inspires me. They inspire me. So I'm grateful for my team. Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's important. I think a lot of people like undermine the value of real friendships, right? Like I don't even talk to my friends every day. Like I go like days sometimes without talking to my friends. And it's like almost like just their presence sometimes can be enough to really make you do something, right? Like I have friends going to Ivies. I got friends like trying to be like the best mathematicians. I have friends that are also doing other business ventures. Even people in like the same field as me, right? Like you surround yourself with all these people that are all doing great things. You have to do great things yourself. It's inevitable, right? So that's why like even doing this interview is so important to me, right? Because I get to interact with you in such a deep level that it's very hard to do sometimes, you know.
Going back to your friends, I do find it interesting that most of them are in debate as well. So like, you guys are competing. How does that feel?
Competing, it's amazing. I love competing. That's like my favorite thing in the world. I'm like the most competitive person I think I know personally, especially when I like something, right? So competing against my friends makes it even more fun because if I win, I get to rub it in their face, and if I don't win, they rub it in my face, and they'll let me know, which will just make me improve at the end of the day, right? And it's like because they're my friends, they know my weaknesses better than I know my weaknesses. Therefore, I have to be even more prepared than for somebody who doesn't, right? Like for Model UN, it was a lot easier because I was interacting with people who've never met me before. Now for this one, they know exactly my game plan. They've seen me debate, they've talked to me, and we've had debates outside of the debate team, which they know how I'm gonna tackle every single situation, right? So it makes it very interesting because it's like, who's gonna be more prepared for the situation? So I love it. I love the challenge, and I think it makes it pretty cool.
Where would you say you get your competitive mindset from, or mindset in general? Because you work really hard, as I said before.
I think honestly, my competitive mindset probably just comes from innate. Maybe it's just probably inside of me. I can't remember myself not being competitive, right? So ever since I was a little kid, I always wanted to be as good as possible at anything that I did, or at least the things I like to do. Not everything, because I hate some things, as you know. But
Very tedious things.
yeah. So like I feel like ever since I was a little kid, I just always wanted to be better. Maybe it might have been because of my mom. My mom's been very, very hardworking. My dad is also very, very hardworking. They're both very hardworking people. But I don't know. I don't know an exact answer. I don't know like an exact pivotal moment that maybe I became competitive. But I've just at least as I remember, I've always just been competitive, right? Like I've always just wanted to beat the other person. And that sounds bad, but like you know, I want to see everybody win, but I also want to win myself. So it's like it's an imbalance sometimes.
It doesn't seem bad. Like competitive is, if you're competitive, you definitely are crazy.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's a great feeling. Like I love being competitive. I love competitive people, and especially when they bring out that dog in you. You know what I'm saying? Because like you said, it's innate at sometimes. Like shout out to the late Mamba, Kobe Bryant. He had this thing called Mamba mentality, and people with that, they're just like on go mode always and always prepared. A couple of people, for example, that in my life are myself, Jamez Garcia, the great legend, Rosalie Murillo, Nagla Badir, and a couple of others I'm not listing at the moment, but you guys are appreciated.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think it's important. I think competitiveness is very important to improve at all, right? I feel like without competitiveness, we don't improve, right? Like we won't be able to improve without competitiveness. And if we don't compete, then how are we supposed to improve, right? So I do think it can be toxic at times, especially in situations where you put yourself, you try to like always win. I think you can be competitive and also understand that losing is part of the process, right? So I think that's as important as competing itself, right? Being able to take a loss, being able to take failure, and at the end of the day, competitiveness is only toxic if you make it, right? And I fall into that victim sometimes. Like I get so competitive that I forget like moral values and all that. So yeah, so it's something definitely I'm working on.
Going off that, is there any advice that you would like to give that maybe you needed at one point?
I think just be stubborn, right? Be stubborn about what you want, be stubborn about what you need, and just be stubborn in general. Especially when you want something, right? For 4 years of my life, I was very stubborn about the way I wanted to do everything, right? Make money, live my life, and like what type of life I wanted to be. And because I feel like because I've been so stubborn, I've been able to like really fast forward my life and like build like everything that I've built so far, right? If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have been able to do any of that. Like, I don't know if you understand, like, you know what I'm trying to say. Like, it's like, if you're not stubborn about what the way you want to live, then you will never live that life, right? So just be stubborn. A lot of people tell you not to be stubborn, but you have to be stubborn. It's just part, like, I think it's part of the process. Everybody that I've seen succeed has been stubborn about what they want. So I think just be stubborn.
I know we just talked about being stubborn, but would you say you're satisfied with where you're at?
No, I don't think I'll ever be satisfied. I think that's what keeps me going. I think I seek dopamine, right? So every time I hit a goal, and this is something that everybody says, right? Like reaching the goal is actually not the best part. The best part is the process, right? So like I never want that process to end. So when I reach a goal, I just add another goal, right? So technically I'm never satisfied, but at the same time I'm always pretty content. I'll say like I understand that that's where like I need to be there somewhere, and I just reach that every single time. But if I stay satisfied, then I'll stay stagnant, and that's not something I want to do. So yeah.
Going back to the whole TikTok thing, have you gone on any adventures or anything like that?
Yeah, so because of my TikTok, I actually got sponsored, and one of my sponsors was actually wanted me to partner up with them, right? They're a startup, they're called Click, on the App Store, you can search up Click Weekend. But
nice little promo.
Yeah, it's a little promo. But so they're a startup, right? And we're trying to like revolutionize friendships, make friendships a lot easier, and actually make people get out of their house and hang out with each other. So when they sponsored my TikTok, it was actually very cool because we just clicked very well. Click, that's funny. But we clicked very well, and they were like, "We want you to be a part of my team." And I became a founder, right? And they actually flew me out to California. And in California, I got to do a whole bunch of really cool stuff. I got to try out all different types of Asian cuisine. I went surfing, I went hiking, and most importantly of all, I jumped out of a plane. Like I never thought I was gonna be able to do that. I never thought I would go skydiving. I actually always said, I will never go skydiving. And here I am telling you that I went skydiving. So, it was very cool. I got to hang out with a lot of cool people, and like being part of the startup, seeing the startup world, especially in Silicon Valley, it was crazy. Like you got to see like the Google headquarters, the Apple headquarters, NVIDIA, like it was insane. So it was actually really cool. And it was all because of my TikTok. Like, isn't that crazy? Like, I don't know.
It is crazy because TikTok, like, you studied it for 2 years. You didn't get lucky by any means.
No, I didn't. Yeah, my TikTok was definitely. I mean, I think everything that we do is kind of like bounces back from what we did before, right? Like, I used to make Minecraft videos when I was 12, and like the fact that I made Minecraft videos when I was 12 prepared me to make TikTok videos now. Like, if it wasn't because I made Minecraft videos when I was 12, I would have never had the ability to actually see an idea and then know, oh my God, I can do that. And also because I was studying TikTok. So it's like a combination of everything I had done before, right? Like, for example, like you're doing this right now and like this is a conversation, but like, what events do you think led up to this? Like, was it talking to people, like just engaging with people? Like you had to build connections with all of us to even be able to have guests on here and actually have conversations like this, no?
Yeah, I love having conversation and I love talking to people, and I was trying to come up with an idea for a project, and then the great Rosalie Murillo, I was going to call her Moses. Same difference.
Yeah.
I sat down with her, and then she gave me this wonderful idea, and I'm running with it. I hope I'm doing it justice.
Yeah.
I think I am personally.
Yeah.
And I'm always improving every single video, so that's great. Another thing, going back to, the adventures you went on, like that must be a great feeling. Like you had conquered a bunch of your fears, and like you said, I'm never jumping out of a plane, but here you are. You jumped out of a plane. Bro.
Yeah. So actually, I remember before I went skydiving, Alex, shout out to him. He shows me this video by Will Smith, which is like fear. It's like the most beautiful things in life are on the other side of fear, right? And like I feel like that was very impactful, right? Because like he made me conquer every single mental challenge I've ever had. He made me try spicy food. He made me go surfing. I'm scared of the sea, if anybody didn't know. I'm also scared of heights. So he made me go hiking. He made me go surfing. He made me do all these crazy things that I personally wouldn't have done on my own, right? Because I'm scared and I had fear. But like, especially like when I went surfing, it was beautiful, right? Like surfing waves is actually so fun, right? And like being hiking and seeing like all the landscape was insane. Like you can't see that landscape like that unless you climb the mountain, unless you cheat and go on a helicopter, but we're not talking about that. But you know, like unless you climb that mountain, you can't see that landscape, right? And same for skydiving. There's a picture of me smiling, and I was really scared when I was jumping. And the guy was like, smile to the camera, and like, and you just see me like it's funny because it's just every beautiful thing is on the other side of fear. Even like us being procrastinating, it's just because we fear that whatever we're gonna do is gonna be hard. But at the end of the day, if we just take that away, we can actually accomplish a lot more.
Exactly. You also have to fake it till you make it. That's why, that smile picture is gonna be iconic. Like me personally, I would frame it up.
Yeah.
Another thing. We're about to wrap this up. So, any bold claims or takes?
Any bold claims? I think try to eliminate everything you don't like to do. That's how I live my life, right? Everything I don't like to do, I try to either automate it or I try to delegate it. Because I feel like if you spend your you only have one life, right? If you spend your life doing the things you don't want to do, and I'm not saying like doing your homework. Do your homework, bro. But like I'm saying, like for example, if like you hate doing the dishes, which is actually a chore I hate, and a lot of you probably hate too. I would say like work so hard that you don't have to do the dishes anymore, right? That's like always been my biggest thing.
Something that's very crazy to say, but it's just real. Like you don't want to do dishes, you shouldn't have to.
Yeah, you're right. That's what I'm saying. And there's people that like doing the dishes. Like I know that's people that's therapeutic to. All kudos to you. I hate doing the dishes. I almost cry every time I do them. It's actually it's so sad. So I just want to know on one question. Like, what do you think is the most impactful thing of this whole podcast for you? Like, of this whole conversation thing. Like, what do you think this is going to leave off? And like, are you actually going to continue doing this? Because I would love to see it.
I love that question. I have actually been thinking about that, and I've been getting the same question a couple of times lately. Coming up with the year coming to an end. I really want to pursue this after school. I just have to get a nice setup like this. And I'm sorry, can you rephrase the first half of your question?
The first half of my question was like what type of impact do you think this makes at the current moment? Right, like what do you feel about it?
Yeah, it's definitely making me more confident. Like I have anxiety, but you wouldn't be able to tell because I'm having these conversations and I'm very energetic and I'm just outgoing. Yeah, it's definitely gonna help with college as well because like I hate going up, like for high school, I hate going up to the board to present something, but in college you're gonna have to present to like a whole row of seats, you know, and this is definitely helping with that. I'm very happy to be doing this, and I plan on doing it within the years to come. It's like my version of a yearbook because I get to look back at these conversations and like back on the people that are in these videos, like you. You're a great friend of mine, and you've been helping me a lot actually. So when y'all see my craft get better, it's because of this guy.
I haven't done anything.
He's so humble. Thank you for coming on the interview.
Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it.
Make a sign to the camera here.
James gang.
Good.